Hello, friends. I hope you all are doing well. Today, I have brought a new English speaking lesson for you. Whether you are a complete beginner or an intermediate learner, and you want to speak English fluently and confidently just like a native, so you can use these lessons. These lessons have been designed in a way that help your subconscious brain to think and speak in English automatically. Before we begin the speaking lesson, there are 3 important steps to be aware about. First of all, I will tell you a small portion of a story, and you need to listen to it carefully. Second, I will ask you some questions regarding that portion. So, you have to pause the lesson and try to answer the questions loudly. Please don't be still at one position when you practice. Move around when you practice and use your body also to describe your answer. This will help you remember the vocabulary for a longer time, and you will be able to use them in your conversation also when you need them. Finally, the last is about repetition, because repetition is the mother of skill. So you will have to use each lesson for at least 7 days. If you want to be really good at something, you got to do it regularly so that you can do it effortlessly when you need it. Now it's time to get into our English speaking lesson. But before we begin the speaking lesson, there are some useful vocabulary that you need to know. Admonish. To admonish someone means to command them, or to strongly or strictly advise them to do something. For example, I am admonishing my friend not to study grammar rules, which means that I am strictly advising my friend not to study grammar rules, or I am commanding my friend not to study grammar rules. Next is unintended consequence. First, let's understand unintended. Unintended means something done accidentally, something you don't want to happen, but it still happens. Whereas consequence means the result of something, or the outcome of something. So, unintended consequences means an undesirable result. For example, I studied hard, but I still failed the exam, so it is an unintended consequence for me. Which means that I failed the exam accidentally. I didn't want this outcome, but it still happened. Conscience. Conscience is your ideas of right and wrong. Actually, it is the part of your brain that tells you something is right and wrong, good and bad. For example, you should always follow your conscience before you do anything, which means that you should always follow your feeling of right and wrong before you do anything. It sounds like conscious, but it is actually not conscious. It is pronounced a little bit different, conscience, but not conscious. Ensue. To ensue means to happen something. For example, what ensued was that she got married to a doctor, which means that what happened was that she got married to a doctor. Naive. When someone is naive, they are innocent. They may not know how to deal with people, especially those who take advantage of them. For example, a clever boy took advantage of a naive man, which means that a clever boy took benefit of an innocent man. Pursue. When you pursue something, it means you try to actively achieve, chase or follow something such as a goal, a strategy, or an opportunity. For example, she decided to pursue her dream of becoming a famous actress, which means that she decided to follow her dream of becoming a famous actress. Last we have obese. When someone is obese, it means their weight is too much that it can negatively affect their health. For example, John is obese, which means that he is super big or he is significantly overweight. So now, it's time for our speaking lesson.
There was a boy named Smith, and he hated vegetables. He only liked to eat meat. So tell me, did Smith love vegetables or did he hate vegetables? Well, Smith hated vegetables. He never ate vegetables. What did Smith eat? Meat. Smith only ate meat. Did he eat vegetables or did he eat meat? He ate meat. He only ate meat. And who only ate meat? Smith. Smith only ate meat. Now, of course, Smith's mother was not happy. Every day she admonished him to eat vegetables. She said, "Smith, Eat your vegetables. You must eat your vegetables. What did his mother do? She admonished Smith. And whose mother admonished Smith? His mother. His own mother admonished him. Why did she admonish Smith? She admonished Smith to eat his vegetables. Did she admonish Filbert? Or did she admonish Smith? Smith. She admonished Smith. So, who strictly advised Smith? His mother. His mother admonished him. Which means the same as saying his mother strictly advised him. How did his mother admonish him? Well, she said, eat your vegetables. You must eat your vegetables. She admonished him every day to eat his vegetables. And what did she admonish him to do? To eat vegetables. She admonished him to eat his vegetables. So, did she admonish him to eat more meat? No. She didn't admonish him to eat more meat. She admonished him to eat vegetables. So tell me this. Did Smith eat vegetables every day? No. He never ate vegetables. He never, ever ate vegetables. He only ate meat every day. Meat for breakfast, meat for lunch, and even meat for dinner. Smith only ate meat. He never, ever ate vegetables. And so every day his mother admonished him. She admonished him strongly. She said, eat your vegetables. You must eat your vegetables. But Smith never did. Now, an unintended consequence of his eating choices was that Smith quickly became very fat. So, tell me, did Smith want to become fat? No, he didn't. It was an unintended consequence, an unintended result. He did not want to become fat, but he did become fat. Why did Smith become fat? Well, because he only ate meat every day. In breakfast, lunch, dinner, meat. So, an unintended consequence of this was that he became fat. Was it an intended consequence or an unintended consequence? Well, it was unintended. He didn't want it. He wasn't planning to become fat, but it still happened. So it was an unintended consequence. What was an unintended consequence of his eating? Well, becoming fat. Becoming fat was an unintended consequence of eating meat every day. What kind of consequence was it? Unintended. It was an unintended consequence. So he ate meat every day, and an unintended consequence of this was that he quickly became very fat. Smith was a fat little boy. Of course, his mom was worried. She was very worried about Smith because he kept getting fatter and fatter and fatter. He became hugely obese, 645 pounds. So, was Smith's weight 545 pounds? No, his weight wasn't 545 pounds. So tell me, how much did Smith weigh? He weighed 645 pounds. And how old was Smith? 6. Smith was only 6 years old, and he weighed 645 pounds. He was terribly, hugely obese. His mom was very worried, so she pursued a new strategy. So, what did she do? Well, she pursued a new strategy. She tried a new strategy. What did she pursue? She pursued a new strategy. And why did she pursue a new strategy? Well, because Smith was getting fatter and fatter, and she was worried. So, tell me, who pursued a new strategy with Smith? Well, Smith's mother. His mother pursued a new strategy with Smith. What did she do? Well, she said, Smith, they kill poor little naive cows to sell meat, and you love animals, so you should follow your conscience. What did she want Smith to follow? His conscience. His feelings about right and wrong, good and bad. His ideas about right and wrong, good and bad. She wanted him to follow his conscience. Did she want him to follow his conscience or his craving for meat? Well, she wanted him to follow his conscience. She did not want him to follow his craving for meat. She wanted him to follow his conscience. What did she want him to follow? His conscience. She said they kill little, small, nice cows to sell meat, and you love animals, so you must follow your conscience. Whose conscience did she want him to follow? Well, his conscience, his own conscience. She wanted him to follow his own conscience, his own feelings of right and wrong, good and bad. Did she want him to eat more meat? No, she did not want him to eat more meat. Actually, she wanted him to stop eating meat. Why did she want him to stop eating meat? Well, because he was obese. He weighed 645 pounds, and he was only 6 years old. So she tried a new strategy. She said you love animals. You don't want them to die. So you must follow your conscience. Well, what happened next was that Smith stopped eating meat. So, what happened next? He stopped eating meat. Who stopped eating meat? Smith. Smith stopped eating meat. Did he stop eating vegetables? No, that didn't happen. What happened was that he stopped eating meat. So, what happened? Well, he stopped eating meat. Next, what happened next? What ensued was that Smith stopped eating meat. So what happened was that Smith stopped eating vegetables, right? No, that didn't happen. He didn't stop eating vegetables. What ensued was that he stopped eating meat. Smith stopped eating meat. In fact, he started to love eating vegetables. And over time, he became thinner and thinner and healthier and healthier. And one day, when he was 9 years old, he was super healthy, super thin, and he looked great. His mom was very, very happy. And that is the end of our speaking lesson for unhealthy eating choices. Please, practice the speaking lesson every day for at least 7 days to deeply learn all the vocabulary and sentences patterns. So, I will see you in the next English speaking lesson. Till then, take care of yourself. Bye-bye.